Hello, everybody. I'm Nina Burley, author of Courier's American Freak Show newsletter. In this week's Freak of the Week, I'm going to talk about someone who can often be spotted these days lurking in the background in many Oval Office photos, who channels his boss's worst nativist instincts into policy and action, and whose own family of descendants of immigrants who fled anti-Semitic violence in Europe and who didn't speak English has disowned him for his immigration extremism. You guessed it. Our Freak of the Week this week is Trump White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security, Stephen Miller. Miller wins this week because his ideology and fingerprints are all over the most shocking recent activities of the Trump administration. Miller was one of the architects of the family separations and caged kids at the border in the first Trump administration. Now he has the power to make his lifelong passion for erasing brown-skinned Spanish-speaking migrants from the streets and fields of America a reality in spectacular and apparently illegal ways. He clearly takes smirking delight in the choreographed spectacle of extrajudicial deportations of men never accused of crimes to a notorious jungle prison in El Salvador. This week, he stood in front of the media in the White House, and although he has a law degree from Duke and understands full well that the Supreme Court unanimously told the Trump administration to retrieve a wrongly imprisoned man from the dungeon in El Salvador, unflinchingly lied and claimed the ruling as a victory for the administration's refusal to do so. He clearly can't wait for the constitutional crisis. Miller is dangerous because he seems to have been born immune to the suffering of the less fortunate or the less American. As a teen, he made lack of empathy his personal brand. A pampered Southern California kid, he ran for student government at liberal Santa Monica High on a platform of making the janitors pick up more of his trash. Dragged from the podium, he seemed to enjoy the booze of his liberal fellow students. In ninth grade, he dumped a friend in part because of his Latino heritage. Now, any casual reading of pop psychology suggests this man has some textbook sociopathy. Since those tendencies sync up so well with those of his boss, he's been given a position of extreme but mostly hidden power. If he hadn't crossed paths with Trump, Miller would probably be just a corporate law firm drone whose colleagues thought of him as the office crank and probably avoided him. His combination of lifelong nativism, powerful position in an authoritarian regime, and his uncanny ability to intuit Trump's worst urges and facilitate them into cruel policy makes him perhaps the freakiest and most malignant member of this second administration's Chamber of Horrors. I'll sign off with this from George Carlin. When you're born, you get a ticket to the freak show. When you're born in America, you get a front row seat. Sign up for my newsletter, American Freak Show, at americanfreakshow.news, and subscribe to Courier for more. See you next week.